Welcome everybody to part 2 of my autumn Samhain grimoire page. I know it's winter now. I've been a bit late with uploading because I was so sick, but I wanted to share it anyway because I believe it's a beautiful spread and I had lots of fun doing it. So like last time, I'm starting with the base. If you want to watch the first time and have me explain why I'm doing this, what kind of spell this is, then watch the first one. I will link it above and below. Now, because I want this to be a continuation of the first page, I have not written any spell work underneath and working right on top of the normal sketchbook page. I decided to mix it up a bit and add different types of paper. I wanted to continue the journey, the pathway out of bronze, but change the background a bit. So I decided to add some black paper, some of my favorite green paper, and of course the serviette. Don't know the English name. After I mixed it up a bit, I decided to lay down the pathway. Again, this was so much fun. I think it's beautiful. It shines beautifully in the sun and in candlelight. It reminds me a little bit of the pathway of Wizards of Oz. I decided to create a border around it like on the first page because it really gives a dimension and the feeling of an actual pathway leading through a landscape. I decided to go for green because I wanted to replicate the feeling of going through a dark and deep forest like on the first page. Automatically working with my hands again because this is most times a very natural thing that happens to me when I do art. I'm just called to work with my fingers and my hands. It happens when I'm painting, it happens when I draw, it happens when I do crafts like this. At some point I just stop using my tools and just work with my hands. The border above is in black to emphasize on the dark aspect of the surroundings. I have a little paper from a shopping bag I put above to write a little poem on top just to give it some extra creative energy. Then I added this picture with mushrooms. I realized later that it said May, which makes sense because the flowers in this glass bubble are flowers that bloom in May, so it doesn't really work out for autumn, but it's beautiful nonetheless. Also the fern and mushrooms for me work well with the forest theme, so later I will cover the May and hope nobody looks close enough to recognize the flowers that are blooming. Then I decided to use wax again to seal it into existence like I did with the first page. I did 3 again because 3 is a very good number, very powerful number, and it also mirrors the wax seals on the other page. I used bronze colors, metallic colors again, just to match the vibe of the other page. I love using these seals also when I write to my pen pals. This is so much fun. I love sealing the letters with this wax because I feel it just creates a very different, very important feeling. And it's also very nice to experiment a bit with different elements. Now I have like fire, I have water, imagery of earth. Of course, air is missing in this spread. Then I decided to add the same kind of vines like the first page to make it look like the castle of Dornröschen, Sleeping Beauty. I think it gives it this mystic feeling. I really love. It's like clouded, it's thorny, and it's like very much blinding for the eye. You cannot see far because of all of the veins. It's a very difficult pathway to go through, and this is why this path and this road in bronze is shining so much out of the page. Then I just added some decorations. I had lots of autumn themed stickers, especially leaves, and I thought it would be very cute to add them to this space. I also added a little fairy like on the other page to match again the energy, to have a bit of a mirror effect, you could say. I also decided to add a little clip of me cutting these veins or leaves because it's so much work. I use a nail clipper, scissors because it's so tiny and pointy, but it takes ages to do this. Right here I'm cutting the one to hide the May in this spread. But all of these took me ages, that's why I didn't film them, because I just sat back and watched some podcasts and YouTube videos of fellow witches while cutting these, because it literally took me hours to cut all of them. And now it's done. Beautiful page, of course, for both pages. The affirmations in the poem are missing because that's private. But I love how it turned out, the feeling. It encapsulates autumn so well and the dark half of the year, the beginning of the dark half of the year, and the path leading through it with the light and shining reflected by the bronze foil. I hope you enjoyed this. I loved it so much, and I hope I will be able to share more art spells in the future with you. And I hope I see you soon. Bye bye!